Second time I've had to record this, so I do think these messages are pretty significant. I did have an alarm go off midway in the video, so it was like, okay, this does relate, but let's start over and go through this again. Now, for those of you that don't know, I'm Yildiz from Yildiz Readings 5D. I'm a psychic medium, clairvoyant, and intuitive astrologer, as well as a soul coach. Now, if you do want this pre-released, ad-free, you can get it through our Sage Inner Circle network. The sign-up links and all the landing pages and information are below. Otherwise, you also, via our website, with the links below, can find a website to actually book a private reading. We're going to get straight into the update of what I see coming through for you, Divine Feminine, and what these new chapters are bringing. And I do think these are new chapters. Now, you can be spiritually in this feeling like there is going to be a judgment call. Now, some of those things you might feel directly are outside of your control. Some of the things in your ego you could be looking at and going, okay, what do I have within my control? What can I directly change? And you could be going back to some journaling. You might be going back to some thoughts about what you wanted in the past and reassessing what you directly want right now. One of the messages that has been coming through for a few weeks, especially in the context of the fact that Juno is retrograde, which does directly impact, and I have seen this in my own twin flame path, where we have Juno retrograde, there can be some spiritual tests that we do tend to experience. We might have excessive kind of energy towards it in a judgment sense, which does make sense because where we have the dates with Juno, and we're going to just briefly tap into it. The 5th of June, Juno went retrograde in the house of Aquarius. And I did reference way back when that I do think, because it's moving between two zodiac signs, where Pluto directly was involved, we are looking at the maturity cycle of this. What stands, what needs to go, what the old hierarchical systems were connected to this. Regardless, this can go all the way back pre-2020, okay? So we may be, in the context of our spiritual path, dragging out the past, assessing where we are today, wondering where the context of that connection is, but also where the context of our life and our life path is. So it can feel like the weight is heavy. It can feel as though the judgment holds deeper significance and burdens, okay? So yes, we could have their base frequency. We might have feelings that we want to judge this and we want to take our power back. And sometimes we can have extremities in these vibrations. Now, as I mentioned, August the 11th, it shifts back into the house of Capricorn. When it moves station direct, it still will be in Capricorn. It's going to move back into Aquarius and pretty much through to the end of the year. We call that the judgment portal. You can be moving through the circumstances of assessing what it is and where you stand, but also getting to a stage where you go, okay, where is the context of this? And we look to the most recent past. We are dealing with this, and I'd like you to remember that if you are tapping into any readings, especially based on the subject matter of Juno, taking on any of the readings you're looking at on YouTube, for instance, or within your private session, look at the past position, because some of this is the past coming back into the future. Now, I get this notion of Christmas in July. There could have been some things that were playing out back then, and you are looking at the value systems of what you want to link into and what things are changing, and maybe trying to make some life adjustments at the moment regardless. Now, I do see two things coming up: the romantic context and the personal context. What might overshadow this is not addressing the personal context, and that could be some other things that are playing out in your life that are actually calling upon you at this point in time to address. And sometimes that can be because our shadow was very fixated that we believe, hey, if we were in the context of a connection, maybe it would be a bit simpler. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, because they also could have their own problems that come with it that could overshadow what we need to directly address. So don't take it as if you're not in communication with these individuals, that you're not on path, nor take it that if you are in the connection, that it means that it's not going to be successful. I do think this is a particular portal at the moment where values are being reassessed. What do I value? What has taken so long? What judgment call do I want to make? Where am I going to extremities with the judgments? Have some of these problems that have come to the surface that have been impacting your connections actually had some progress, actually had some transitions. Now, I do see a very positive sense is that you are resisting temptation. Temptation to go back down old rabbit holes, temptation to go back into negative vibrations of who you used to be. This is going to serve you. This is going to give you lady luck. But there is some shedding that we are going through. For some of you, you could be looking at also in a not just a spiritual sense, but in a 3D sense. You might have really limited what you were doing with your life, reduce things down, which I think is an interesting context coming up in your read, because we have sort of like the pentacles, the gold energy up here in reversal, living with less, being maybe due to circumstances, and really looking at who are these connections, where do you derive your income from, where are your assets, what do you have financially, or what were you using that was actually sort of taking from you a bit too much. So it's the give and take within connections, marriages, contracts, partnerships, reassessing them. Maybe you were going through a stage where you were paying off a lot of debt, and that's really taken a toll. And now you're looking at different ways you can do things to actually generate some wealth, generate some stability, but also work with others and how that can best work for you, but in a healthier way, in a more authentic way. And I do think we're re-identifying with those. And this could actually bring you some significant luck to get you a leg up. And I do see a theme of timeline portals and worlds merging. So I do think it's going to give you sort of like a solution. Something is going to come about that is going to give you a leg up. And I do think this is in relationship to shedding the old, liberating yourself out of maybe quite a taxing situation, and getting yourself into this new vibration. I think it's okay to be authentic and to tap into, okay, within my judgment setting, what's working for me, what's not, where are the connections in my life, what connection do I feel I resonate with. And one of the big signatures I was seeing coming through when we had the true nodes move last month, which the mean node moves this month, and don't get too caught up in it, you'll get the astrological insight regardless. The point is, some of the signatures were coming last month and maybe even the month prior, as we were moving into eclipse portals. The importance of that is there because we are going into new subject matters. And I did say the energy level will be chalk and cheese. It's starkly different. Where we are visiting our last lunation we had last month, which was the full moon in Aquarius, some of those themes are relating to the here and now and the new nodal cycle. So how can that show up? How you resonate inside of groups. Now, the one message that I was getting is, and this is good and bad, and this is going to show the contradiction we're all living. It's going to show the vast world in which we are living, but simultaneously we're all connected. In some ways, we could get super split in a sense of far left and far right. In other ways, we can show up and realize we have more in common than we believe. What you are going to find is you have to first, within the first portal of this, due to the eclipse in Leo, be the most authentic, true version of yourself. Away from all the fluff, the authentic version of who you are, beyond expectations. Also balancing a fine line between consideration of others. So how can we do that? We're navigating that portion now. We're navigating that authenticity. So I do think you're going back to the drawing board. I do think you're going back to, okay, what are my judgments now through this? Well, where is my ego? What are my judgments? What do I feel I need to be? What do I want to be, but am moving and growing into? These are all subjects that you're going to be grappling with. Your image, your vision, how you show up, how you shine bright, how you have fun, how you connect to that inner child of creativity, and also, what your dreams are, very separate to the connection. But nevertheless, I do see connections as quite relevant to you this month. especially moving forward. But it won't be at the cost of you forgetting who you are. If you do that, what you will find, especially with the North Node in Aquarius and South Node in Leo, is it will purge the ego. You will purge what is not necessary. You'll purge what is not authentic, because you won't be able to fake it till you make it here. You will have to be that very true identity. So what can happen is we will feel less tolerant, and also that will be projected towards us if we are not being authentic. If we are being codependent, can we work together? Yes. So where we had a previous North Node, the one way I can explain how it showed up for me, and this is on the opposite side of the portal, is consolidation. And the consolidation came down to really appreciating the connections I had around me, but having very vastly different individuals in my life, giving me the flavor of spices, for instance. And they came from different walks of life, and those energies all served a different element of the essence of who I was as a person. It was during a recession, and it was during a time that I was going through very difficult stages in my life, but really pulling it down to the core, the essentials and the courage of what I needed to become also gave me the raw organic simplification of basics. And the basics were full of pleasure. They were walks, they were connections, they were barbecues with friends, they were meeting of different minds in different age brackets, which I do think is going to be relevant with the North Node in Aquarius. And I think for you as an individual and at a collective level, we're wanting to have that authentic connection with friends. We're wanting to have that trust with people. And yes, there are some people who come into our lives for a season and a reason, and there are others that are going to be there forever in this lifetime. So I do think you're going to meet the right people. And I do think Lady Luck is on your side, but it's about actually taking that bull by the horn, allowing what needs to shed from your life to go, and knowing that what you're truly worth and what is meant for you is directly going to come towards you. So there is a distinct possibility with the shedding. What's going is it's pulling back your true core of who you are. What's going is the fake self. What's going is what you felt you needed to be based on other people's expectations. And what's coming is that fresh, vibrant, brand new skin of what you are growing into, because what you have outgrown is moving by the wayside. Now, we do have all of these out. If you do want a private booking, you can go to the link below. We have the masculine, feminine, and karmic 4 times a month. We release these. And yes, we will be doing different content coming to Yildiz Readings 5D, covering the astrology, covering transits, and more online. Now, if you do want these pre-release, you can go to our landing page for Sage in a Circle Network. It is hosted via our website, and so are all the links for our bookings should you need one. Take care, and I'll see you soon.